You always talk about how you want your life to change drastically and why it's not changing. There are some great reasons why your life is not changing as quickly as you want it to. Let me tell you first and foremost, before we get into these things, it's not everybody else's fault. It's on you. If you're looking for gentle parenting advice, this video is not it. Because the number one reason why your life is not changing as quickly as you want it, and the number one thing you have to realize in order for your life actually to change, is you can't gentle parent yourself to big changes. A lot of the times when it comes to self-help, we think that, oh, well, we deserve to be gentle parented and everything's got to be oh so calm and oh so nice. And we have to be able to predict everything in order for us to be comfortable with change. The change you're seeking, the life you're dreaming about, everything that's on your vision board, that stuff is not gonna freaking come from you just being gentle parenting and waiting till your nervous system is ready. Like on some, I don't know, I don't wanna do that. I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I can post on YouTube. I don't know if I can make content. I don't know if I can ask for this and this opportunity or go out and be who I need to be. The world's not gonna wait for you. The world doesn't care if you're shy. The world doesn't care if you're not ready. And if you want a drastic change in your life, you're going to have to realize that it's probably also going to have a bit of a drastic impact on your nervous system. And a lot of the times, the impact on your nervous system is actually going to be that you're going to be much calmer, quicker. But to get to the point where you're very, very calm much quicker and you're much more at ease with yourself and you feel like you're your best self, you're going to have to be at a point where you're almost like breaking down crying. Not necessarily because things are like bad. No, but because you're going to have to do some things that are going to make you question yourself. It's going to make you question your reality and it's going to make you move, do things, whatever. The second thing is you're too dependent on the current reality you're living in. Whether that is your material goods or the people you're around or the things that you're used to doing, what you always tell everybody and their mom, well, I can't live without doing that, or this is just who I am and I wouldn't ever change that. It's probably the thing that's blocking you. Maybe you dream of living abroad or a better situation for you or a specific job or whatever it is you dream about. The sky's the limit. The sky isn't even the limit. Universe is the limit. The universe is literally limitless. So the fact that there should be a limit is a limit we impose on ourselves. We are tethered to so many things and so many things we claim are ourselves. A lot of the things that we do claim are ourselves, like, oh, well, I could never dress differently and this is who I am and I should always be able to be who I want to be. Or I could never get rid of this and this and that. I could never just pack my life down into suitcases, 2 suitcases and move. I could never get rid of enough stuff. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. If you actually wanted your life to change overnight, you could. If things were dire enough, if you were in a serious enough situation, you could. But you are in a situation that is comfortable enough for your nervous system that you don't actually have to get up and do something too drastic tomorrow, which leaves you to feel like, well, I won't and I shouldn't have to, and I'm not going to do that because I shouldn't have to do these things. Yet you want drastic changes in your life, but you don't want to change things drastically. And that's why it also comes down to materialistic things. A lot of the times we are very tethered to things. Like, I could never get rid of my books. My books are my babies or my stuffed animals. Like, I'm a stuffed animal girly myself, but recently I literally donated almost all of my stuffed animals because I knew that they're just like laying around. They're not actually doing what they need to do for me right now. A kid who loves a stuffed animal and takes it with them to school is going to be much happier having that stuffed animal that I am going to have it on my shelf. And just like, it's not going to make me mobile to just have a bunch of stuff. And I know for me, I want a life where I can do what I want and be like, you know what, we're doing something new. We're traveling somewhere else. We're doing something different. I was literally just in New York a couple days ago. I just went to Dubai not too long ago. I travel quite a lot. And throughout traveling, not saying you can't bring your little wardrobe with you and everything, but because I like to travel, I've also realized that there's a lot of hindrance in letting yourself believe that this is who you are and you need to have this and this and that in order for you to work. And that doesn't mean that you can't have standards to be like, you know, I want my nails done. I want my hair done. I want this and this done. I want to have sunscreen. Like, oh no, I can live without sunscreen. No, it just means that, like, do you really need that much stuff? Could you actually change your life tomorrow? Could you actually get up and move tomorrow? Or do you have too many things tethering? And you gotta look at yourself and be like, are you contradicting yourself when it comes to wanting more, wanting better, but you're constantly piling up on stuff that's not making your life better? And this leads me to the third point, which is you're not investing in your future, you're just buying things. There's nothing wrong with treating yourself to stuff within reason, like a nice scented candle, some beauty products, all of this, but they also serve a purpose. But say you want to be a content creator and you want to travel the world or whatever, but the thing you do every week is you go spend $30, $50 on clothes, yet you're not willing to put that money aside, not go without spending money on clothes, in order for you to put money aside so you can buy like a $200 digital camera. And of course, maybe you're not even spending a little bit on clothes. But I know for a fact, I'm someone, I love shopping, but I also know that the money I spend on electronics, like spending money on a new phone, spending money on a new computer if I needed that money comes back to me because I invest in something I could use to create. But a lot of the times we put money into stuff that's not going to create for us. And that doesn't mean you have to be like a minimalist and only wear the same outfit every single day. But you have to gauge, are you buying stuff that's just polyester that you're only going to wear once and then you're never going to wear it again? And you might think, what does that have to do with building your dream life or whatever? We're too comfortable with wanting things to be convenient, cheap, easy, but we also want a lot. We want a lot and we want everything and we want more, but we're not willing to say, okay, well, if I want a lot in the future, I'm going to have to be wary of like, what do I actually want and how am I going to get there? And that doesn't mean you have to plan out your freaking whole life. No, it means you have to be willing to say, well, what is a priority? If I want to be a content creator, it's a priority for me to just buy a bunch of clothes that I'm only going to wear for like one video just to be like, oh my God, look, new clothes. Or is the camera the thing that I have to view into the future? The instant gratification we're used to getting today, like constantly getting stuff, getting. If you're starting out and you have to prioritize changing your life, you also have to prioritize what you want to get at this moment. And that's when we get to number 4, which is you have to think about what are you spending your time on. You say you want your life to change drastically, yet every single night you spend 2-3 hours watching TV. I'm sorry to say it, but your life is not going to change drastically unless you're watching TV that's like science that you're going to be able to use to change the world. Like if you're watching educational stuff, that's different. And there's also nothing wrong with sitting down and watching like an episode of Friends or watching a movie, all of that. There's nothing wrong with it, but if you're constantly complaining about wanting your life to change, yet the time you could be spending making a video, a 2-minute video that you post on TikTok, learning how to speak, talk to a camera, be yourself, learning a skill, if your time is spent and measured in episodes of a show, then you don't actually want your future. You want the comfortability of being able to sit on your couch, in your bed, watching TV, eating snacks. And then when you finish watching your show, you go on your bed and you scroll. And you listen to other people's opinions and you listen to other people's stories and you engage with them and you get triggered or rage baited or whatever. And that's the spiral you go through. Instead of creating something. I've just been sick and I've been spending a couple weeks where I haven't been able to do anything. I've had the flu, like crazy flu, because New York's got crazy flu like that. And I felt so jittery knowing that I couldn't get up and make content because I was like floored by this illness. I knew it just wasn't possible for me to actually do something. But because I'm so used to posting content every single day, I know how much of an impact it has to actually show up for yourself, not just content wise. You show up for yourself by showing up. That has a big impact. And you got to measure your time. Like if you had an hour you could spend on watching a TV show, if you spend that hour making one YouTube video, even if it's not a good YouTube video, and you did that every single day instead of watching the TV show, how far would you be in 1 year? You would have made 365 videos and you could have possibly made thousands of dollars, whatever, from that because one video blew up. And that could change your life so you could buy more stuff. Maybe you could buy your MacBook. Maybe you could buy your phone. Maybe you could do whatever. You can trips. And then you can record that and make even more. And the 5th one is the one you're probably not going to like me the most for. You're constantly wanting to talk about everything you went through instead of talking about all of the things you do want or imagining or looking at the things you do want. We love as human beings talking about bad things or triggering things or, oh, this person did this or this person did that. Or even oversharing, if that's something you grew up doing, or you've grown up in a family where like you're a people pleaser and all of this, it's going to feel natural to you to be an oversharer. But what you're doing is that you're creating a life that is extremely similar to the one you've always lived, because that's what you speak into reality. Whatever it is you talk about, whatever it is you are always saying, well, this person did this and this person did that, and this always happens to me. Why can't I find this and this and that? That's going to happen. You're going to speak that into reality, because your reticular activating system, which is a part of your brain that like focuses on whatever it is you got your mind on, like your brain can only focus on so much. It's kind of like telling a little kid, like, okay, go out and look for blue things. The kid is going to be able to pick out blue things very quickly. You will be able to do that yourself. Like the blue sky, for example, that's what you probably looked at right now. Your brain can only focus on so much. And if you're constantly focusing on what you don't want, the life you used to have, and all of the things you don't want, you don't really want change. You want people to validate what you went through to feel good, so that you don't have to get up and change, hoping that people will change your life if they feel sorry enough for you. They won't. It starts with you. That's why in the beginning of this video, and the first thing I said is, you're not going to have any gentle parenting in this. And some things that are hard and that are probably going to be hard for your nervous system also to deal with, but it's necessary, is having to sit with the emotions, of sitting with your emotions yourself, instead of always having to delegate them to people. Because most likely the reason why you feel like you always have to talk about everything you went through and all of the bad things and everything is because you grew up with a parent that most likely always talked about everything they went through, and you had to handle that. So now you think somebody else owes you handling your emotion. And that's just a spiral that you're going to continue imposing on people until you realize that it's going to reinforce people that are just complaining, victim mentality, and it's never going to change anything. It's not going to get you what you want, because what you're going to spend your time and your energy on is complaining, and you're going to be crying over the life you don't have instead of working towards the life that you do want. And that's why if you want more, if you want drastic changes in your life, you're going to have to stop engaging with the life that you don't want. Talking about all the things you don't want, all the things you're afraid of. Like, write them down in a book, if anything. Just don't call everybody up. Talk to your best friends about everything you're afraid of, because they're going to bring it up too. If they're also negative or victim-minded or whatever, that you probably also kind of like mesh together, because that's probably why you became friends in the first place. And what that's going to do is that a lot of people are not going to want to be around you anymore, because you're not going to engage with negativity. And that part of your life is going to be really, really hard, because suddenly you're going to have to remove yourself, like your energy, a lot. Not necessarily because everybody's bad or I don't want to deal with your negativity. No, but because you're realizing that you're not getting anywhere. It's just like tea clubs sitting around talking about other people's problems, which is just going to make it so that that's the only thing you focus on. Does that sound healthy? No, it doesn't. And it isn't. A healthy person, and I hate to say this, someone who has a healthy relationship with themselves, with their friends, with their family, with their partner, is someone who is mostly engaging about things they want, the future they want to build. And that doesn't mean that they're running around, la, 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 everything is so good and dandy and we have no problems whatsoever. There's communicating. But the communicating isn't on some, well, I went through this and they did that and they did that. Like, that's, you're five. You're five if you're constantly thinking about that. And I hate to be the one who is telling this news with like a band-aid that's being ripped off, like, ah. But sometimes we need to hear it. We're a product of what it is that we focus on. And if we're always focusing on the same, we're going to get more of the same. We're not going to get a different life from focusing on everything that people did wrong towards us and everything that they should have done. No, we're gonna have to show up for ourselves so we can get better. And that means that we're gonna have to remove our energy so we can focus on creating something so that we can get better. But we're not gonna be able to get that time and energy if we don't switch it around. Instead of always having to be in defend mode, explain mode, trying to tell everybody what everybody did mode, if we don't switch that around to, okay, well, if I can't tell everybody everything that's gone wrong, if I can't be telling everybody all of the victim stories of my life, what can I do then? What can I do then? Well, you have to create something. You have to get up and make content, art, whatever it is you have to turn it into gold. You have to turn whatever sour juice you had lying around into gold, lemons into lemonade. And that's not going to be like on some, oh my God, we're going to gentle parent and everybody needs to be on board with everything you do. And that leads me to the sixth one. So we're going to have a little sixth one, even though I did say five. But you know, The sixth one is actually to do with the whole breaking the rules. Things are not going to be exactly what you expect them to be. If you want your life to change drastically, you're going to have to take very drastic steps and try out very different things that you don't think you're going to like trying a different type of ice cream flavor. That's actually a really, really good exercise, trying different ice cream flavors, trying different foods, watching different programs, listening to different music. But regardless, you're going to have to go up and like actively seek out challenging your ideas, your belief system, your nervous system. You're going to have to go out and seek that out. But more than just going out and seeking it out, you're going to have to be someone who's okay with things not exactly going how you expected them to go. And that doesn't mean like having a general plan, like, okay, we're just going to F around and find out and we're not going to ever plan anything. No. Like, if you want to go on a plane ride, you're going to have to book the ticket. But more so, you're going to have to be like, okay, what if things could be better than what I expected them to be? What if there are other opportunities than what I thought there were? What if I am actually limiting myself by saying, well, things have to go this exact way? The universe can't give you anything big if your limit to how things need to go is super limited. Like, well, I want things to go exactly this way, and if they don't go exactly this way, I don't want to deal with it. Shout out to all my neurodivergent girlies who get overwhelmed by change. A lot of neurodivergent girlies get addicted to their own like negative situations because it's more familiar being in that negative situation, that order, that structure of the negativity, than it is to break from that mold. Yeah. And even if you are neurodivergent, that mold that like, okay, things need to be perfect and things need to be like this very narrow path. You think the universe can give you a bunch of gifts, like shower you, if your only way of getting the gifts is like this? No, he can't. It's like Santa trying to come down your chimney. If the chimney's not big enough, Santa can't come down and bless you with all the gifts. So you're going to have to widen your horizon and say, okay, so what can I do to try new things, to try to be something different? That's like me. I usually make content about self-help and I love doing this, and I know you guys love my videos and I'm here for you. I know that these videos change your lives, but I also know that sometimes I gotta switch it up. I gotta try out different things. I gotta see, okay, maybe I could do some comedy stuff. Maybe I could do this. Maybe I could do fashion. I can't be limiting myself because maybe I'm actually better at something else and I didn't know until I tried it. Just like I didn't know 5 years ago that I would be this good at making these types of videos. And I wouldn't have grown my social medias to what they are today if I didn't try that out. And I didn't start my social medias from the ground, from zero, and just put stuff out there and say, F it, we're going to find out. You're going to have to be willing to be like, okay, so let's try this and try this. And especially when it comes to perfectionism, you're going to have to be willing to be like, okay, well, we can't have it be perfect. And you're going to have to do things instead of always needing to predict how things are going to go. Like, oh, well, in order for me to start, I need to know that it's going to go this and this and this and that way. Well, if you're still here, if you still got yourself, if you still got that one little trinket that you kept with you your whole trip, if you've got that, you can still get up and change your life. You can still get up and try something new. You can still get up and make a new life for yourself. So it doesn't even make sense to be perfect. The perfectionism is blocking you from getting everything because you think that by being perfect, things are going to go in a way that's not going to be too bad. But in reality, you're just blocking yourself because when you're trying to be perfect with everything, you get nothing because you can't see beyond the perfectionism glasses you have on. And then you don't make any steps because you're trying to mitigate everything. You're trying to make sure everything is perfect. So you never take any steps and then you end up sagging backwards. That's why a lot of the perfectionism girlies in school when they're younger, they work really well and like they get all the high grades and everything. But then as soon as they get into the real world and they can't no longer base their whole identity on grades and how they're judged by grades, then things crumble because they realize that the perfectionism can only take you so far. It can't take you towards actually growing. It can only make you fit into systems. And when those systems are no longer there, you have to actually work on who you are and go out and try things and fail and fail and fail until you win from failing. It's way better for you to fail all your ways to success than for you to try to be perfect all the way. And those are the things that basically will change your life and that are also blocking your life when it comes to changing your life drastically overnight.